we all seem to feel as our own. Someone whose pain we feel as our own. Someone for whom we cry at night. Someone for whom we pray. I would like to introduce to you Dr.Aafia Siddiqui.
Brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. It is my
I would like to invite, and before calling this next speaker, who is the reason I am standing here today, I want to give you a brief introduction. Again, as they say, the person that needs no introduction probably gets the most. In its brief history, my country has endured more than its share of difficult times that you've all heard. But we always maintained our dignity. And because of this, even those with whom we had disagreements, they respected us. Our dignity evaporated when the dictator of the previous government began to sell our brothers and sisters, husbands and wives, sons and daughters, and even our young children to his foreign masters. He even bragged in his autobiography about how much money he made from this graceful practice. The respect from other nations that Pakistan had earned during the 6 decades of struggle vanished overnight. I'm ashamed to say that I remained silent when this stain of dishonor began spreading across our country. It was easy. This wasn't my problem. There was nothing I could do about it. Oh, those people must be bad. They must have done something. That's what I used to say. Even when my own sister disappeared, I remained silent. I was told that she and her children would be returned shortly. As days passed into weeks and weeks turned into months, I was told if I spoke, dead bodies would arrive at our doorstep. As time passed further, I was told that unless I remained silent, my children would not be safe. My mother would not be safe. I would not be safe. In the summer of 2008, I was approached by a group of human rights activists. Their investigation turned up in evidence that Aafia was alive and being held at a Bagram prison in Afghanistan, prisoner 650. In the absence of a meaningful legal forum, they were going to present this evidence at a press conference. My presence would help make our nation aware of the ordeal of my sister and thousands more. The ordeal that thousands of people have endured after the onset of the war on terror. I was given a choice: speak up and risk the lives of my children and my mother. Speak up and risk leaving my mother with another missing daughter. Speak up and risk leaving my own children without a mother. Speak up and risk everything I have and everyone I love on the slim chance that my sister was still alive. After all these years, Aafia could possibly not be alive. But there, in front of me, was evidence that she was. I spoke up. And nothing happened to my children, to my mother, to me, but something did happen. Within days, Aafia was found wandering the streets of Ghazni. Within days, the dictator fled the country, demonstrating the cowardice of all evil men. Within days, I had custody of Aafia's older son, Ahmed, whom you all heard. I spoke up and I made a difference. I will continue to speak up because it is the only way I can help my sister and the thousands of men, women and children who have vanished during the last decade. The thousands of children that were locked up with Iqbal and Maryam, they do not deserve to be in jail. I am a doctor because of the education that my father and mother provided me and the skills that God gave me. I can heal injury and cure sickness. I have been forced to learn to heal a different sort of injury and cure a different sort of sickness, but I cannot do this alone. And I'm grateful to be among so many people who have demonstrated a commitment to fighting injustice in all its guises. And the reason for this introduction is that fear that I had. The one person that I am going to invite you, he is the person who said you have to do this press conference. You saw his part of the press conference. You didn't see my part and how nervous I was and how much water you could see even when he was speaking. I was speaking. This is the person, the reason, the backbone behind which I'm standing here. I owe it to him in gratitude, with honor, and with a lot of respect. Senator Iqbal Haider. He was also the co-chairperson of the Human Rights Corporation of Pakistan. He was a former law minister, also senator, and he was also, I think, the former attorney general. And he has a lot of things to his name. I think I won't take a lot of time, and I'll just let him come to the stage.
Honorable Chief Justice, Mr. Justice Aafia Siddiqui Sahib, who is gracing this gathering by presiding over this function. And we have a good fortune that the former Attorney General of the United States, who is known for his commitment for human rights and who is respected for his mission to support the victims who have suffered at the hands of the U.S. authorities or any other. I know Mr. Ramsey Clark had visited us when we were having a judicial conference of jurists in April 1989. Even then, he had spoken the truth about the law and against the injustices. Mr. Justice Rashid Rizvi Sahab, who has been always a crusader for human rights causes, and our present president of the Sindh High Court Bar Association, Mr. Anwar Mansoor Sahab, and a very well-known human rights activist who is upholding the cause of women, in particular, Anisa Saiba. And along with her is a women's rights struggler throughout her life. It is an honor to have her in this gathering, Shameen Khatmi Saiba, and a U.S. journalist witnessing the sentiments, and I hope recording the sentiments, Laura Castro Saiba. Your presence gives me the hope that the sentiments of different walks of life of the people of Pakistan you have been listening to would be conveyed to the people of the United States. The people of the United States should know what damage they are causing by victimizing Aafia Siddiqui. If the US and the United States establishment is genuinely against terrorism, then the first thing they must do is to refrain from victimizing any citizen, may it be of USA or Pakistan, and particularly Aafia Siddiqui. If you say that Aafia may be a very religious-minded person, that is her right to be respected under the UN Charter. and there is nothing wrong to be a committed Muslim who believes in non-violence and against all forms of terrorism. She is a highly educated lady. Much has been said about her. I will not take your time on repeating the tribute paid by my colleagues and the fellow speakers, which I wholeheartedly support. While I pay tribute to Aafia Siddiqui, it will not be fair on my part to ignore Aafia Siddiqui. Aafia Siddiqui is such a courageous woman that she has been ceaselessly, consistently voicing for the release and repatriation of Aafia in such a forceful manner that Aafia is a victim of violations of human rights, is recognized all over the world. So much so, Fauzia's voice of protest for Aafia has bore fruits, that we have amongst us a great human rights activist from the US, whose presence itself for me is a proof that there has been gross maltreatment to Aafia and she deserves all the sympathy, support, release, and there should be an end to the victimization of Aafia. Mr. Ramsey Clark, I am very grateful for your coming to Pakistan despite your heavy engagement. Your presence is not only inspiring to us in raising the human rights issues, but also it proves that the case and the cause of Aafia is just, lawful, fair, and deserves all the support. Sir, expression of gesture of humanity always brings better opinion and better public opinion and support, and highlights those countries which believe in showing some mercy and generosity and genuineness. It is for this common cause that government of Pakistan did not hesitate in releasing a person who had even committed murder. My friend Mansoor, Anwar Mansoor, has already mentioned about it. That was only to strengthen the relations. I would only say, sir, that not to reciprocate this gesture of humanity, right, on which there is a massive controversy in Pakistan. Most people believe that this was an extraordinary mercy given to the person, Raymond Davis. Most people in Pakistan are of the opinion that he should have been punished according to the laws of Pakistan. Sir, but the government, all institution of the government considered it necessary to show this gesture of goodwill to the people of America and the State Department, for one reason, that we are at a war against terrorism. We are part of that war. Not only we are part of that war, for we are the greatest sufferer of that war. Let me emphasize the incalculable losses that the people of Pakistan and the state of Pakistan and army of Pakistan has suffered at the hands of the terrorists more than any USA. Sir, please take it for granted that there is not an iota of exaggeration when I say that more than 80,000 civilians have laid their lives, have lost their life at the hand of the terrorists and are continuing to suffer that. Our armed forces have suffered a loss of more than 8,000 soldiers who have been shaheed. I would call them shaheed. They have been, they laid their life for protection of our geographical sovereignty. Sir, all this has been done to combat terrorism by Pakistan. When you go back, sir, I would earnestly plead that these sacrifices of the people of Pakistan may be informed to them. We are suffering. Our children are suffering. You know, hundreds of our schools have been demolished by the terrorists. Thousands of people and their lives and their families have been destroyed. Law enforcement agencies have suffered incalculable losses and gave sacrifices. More than anybody in the whole world, let me assure you. For this reason, I earnestly plead that if Mr. Obama does not give importance to the issue and the sufferings of Aafia Siddiqui, then I am afraid he is promoting terrorism in the world. Violence, it's not just a proverb, violence breeds violence. When you victimize some people, unjustly, unfairly, and your presence here for Aafia is my biggest proof of your wisdom and your opinion that Aafia has been not provided free, fair trial. That is the mandate. Your presence is the very. In fact, your presence also improved the opinion of the people, about the people of United States, that there are still some conscientious, learned advocates of humanity in America who are not scared to support the cause of a victim living in a third world country like Pakistan. But I would not go into much details except one issue. That is, I earnestly plead that Article 2 of the Constitution of the United States gives unlimited, unrestricted powers to the President of Pakistan, of America. And those are the, you know more than I do, sir, in how many cases your Supreme Court has rightly held that most cases throughout the US history, its courts have held that the President possesses virtually unlimited power to issue pardon to individuals or groups and to impose conditions on their forgiveness. This is, I am quoting from the online dictionary by Farlex. This is not the only, and it has also referred to the famous case of Alexander Hamilton Garland. You perhaps are more able and well versed with those cases where Supreme Court of America has repeatedly held that the powers of the President are unlimited and unrestricted. And this is not only the opinion of them, but Black's Law Dictionary, which is also a recognized book on the interpretation and definition of pardon. On pardon, it means to release punishment and blots out of existence of guilt, and blots remove punishment and blots out of existence of guilt, so that in the eyes of the law, the offender is as innocent as if he had never committed the offense. For that, Palermo versus Smith case, I quote, it may be old case, but still I believe is holding the court. Same is the definition given in the legal process by William C. Burton. That is a book published. Yes, I am conscious of that. That's why I am not reading the whole of it. And it also says pardon means to acquit, cancel a punishment, cancel an offense, condone, deliver, discharge, emancipate, excuse, exonerate, expunge. The expunged record of fail to exact a penalty, forgive, give absolution, grant amnesty, etc., etc. In a very wide range. The pardon word has a very wide implication. It is not a limited implication, sir. I am not here to tell you more about the US laws. Before you, it is like showing a lamp to the sun, because you are the more respected, more knowledgeable, more learned person from the legal profession. I am just humbly praying that Mr. Obama, for God's sake, for the sake of humanity, for the sake of peace in this region, for the sake of eradication of terrorism, I plead to you, adopt a sane, passionate and humane attitude by using your powers under Article 2 of the US Constitution and forthwith grant pardon to Aafia Siddiqui. And allow her to come back, repatriate her to Pakistan as we did to Raymond Davis.